Well, hi there, Milbillie, and hi to Zootmere.
Hello.
First of all, something big happening next Tuesday. You've just told me you've asked to have next Tuesday off work. What's the big exciting thing that's happening on Tuesday?
Colborn's mediation hearing for
Yep,
his lawsuit
yep.
come to monetization agreement. I don't know what they're gonna do. Quite
I mean,
interesting.
seriously, do you honestly think that Laura and Moira are going to give Andy Colburn and Mike Griesbach anything at all?
I don't know.
I mean,
It's
I see.
obviously both sides have not been communicating with each other. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as of last hearing, so
I was pleasantly surprised about that. The fact that there hadn't been any discussions whatsoever, because to me this whole charade of trying to sue Netflix, it just struck me as being it's typical Manitowoc Sheriff's Department. You threaten me, I'll threaten you back.
yeah.
Um, I
Well,
mean,
from what I take of it, Colborn seen that there was a documentary on Netflix about the Challenger explosion,
right,
and somebody in the documentary sued Netflix for $14 million. So that's what he based what he wanted off of. I'm assuming.
right.
Who knows what he really wants? If it is actually anywhere close to that, good luck.
I mean, yes. I think he's living in cloud cuckoo land if he thinks. Well, I mean, the thing is that there was clearly this at the last. Oh, sorry. First of all, let's just rewind. So this hearing is next Tuesday, but I understand that there's problems with streaming it. Is that right?
Yep. Only the court is sanctioned to record the hearings. Had
Right.
it been just a telephone conference, fair game. The fact that there's video involved and they may be calling witnesses and everything, I don't know.
Oh, I
I don't understand.
see.
I
I
don't
see. I was
understand.
I was I was going to ask what the difference is compared with. Well, basically, it was last month, wasn't it? It was the end of January, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask what the difference is. So this is going to be a case of you're actually going to be able to. I mean,
Yeah.
can anybody get access to this Zoom conference?
Oh yeah.
Any member of public?
All you got to do is go to the Eastern District Court's website, uh, call the clerk of court's office, give them the case number, which I can give everybody. I actually put the last video I did about this. I put the link to his case, and I put the link to the Eastern Court's website. So all you got to do is just write down the case number, call the clerk's office, give them the case number, tell them that you're a public participant, just interested in the case, and you want to follow along, and they should give you all the information you need. Just
Yeah.
make sure you sign in 15 minutes before the court hearing is supposed to start, and you should be good. Just got to make
Well,
sure that you keep your side muted
yeah.
and you don't talk at all.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, it's brilliant that you've been through all this, Milbillie, and discovered all this the first time round, and sharing all this information with everybody. So yeah, hopefully get a chance to watch this and hear what's being said. I'm fascinated as to what correspondence. Well, first of all, there was going to be correspondence. Each side was to send each other what I'm prepared to give and what I'm prepared to accept type memos, wasn't it? And then
Yep.
it was the reasons for this, right? And then everybody was it to send a letter to the judge explaining, if you like, the case in general that could be shared with everybody, and then everybody had to send in if they felt that there was something specific that they didn't particularly want shared with everybody else in the case at the moment. they were to send in those letters. Have I got that right?
That's right.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. So, well, I mean, this NASA thing about, as you say, I think I saw that documentary about the problems that they discovered with the space shuttle and how they sort of corrected them.
Yeah.
Right. Immediately, an interesting question. Is Milbillie going to unmute during the hearing when
Nope.
Andy Corber's lawyers say something that's
Nope.
no? Keep it muted. In fact, I suspect they've probably got ways of allowing you to sort of follow it,
Yeah.
but not to actually talk.
Yeah. You
I
can.
would.
All you do is. Yeah.
I remember a Zoom conference once with Prison and Night Rider, and it was very much that you got the link, so you could join in on the Zoom conference,
Uh-huh.
but it was you could put comments because they had the comments up, but I doubt whether with a court hearing they would have the comments up.
Well, it was just funny because the last time I called to get the information for the last hearing, called the clerk's office, and she was helpful at first until I mentioned the case number, and then was like, "Okay, are you sure you can do me doing this?" I was like, "Yeah, it says right on your website the public is free to listen in.
Yeah,
Give me the information." And then she
yeah,
gave it to me. Then I called in. The clerk for the court answered. Was like, "Who are you?" I was like, "I'm just an interested party following
yeah,
the case from the beginning." She was like, "Okay." And then she came back a couple minutes later, was like, "Are you from the press?" And I said, "No."
yep,
I was the first one there.
yeah.
Then I heard everybody else call in, and they called the case, and then I started recording.
Well, I suppose I think you're doing yourself a disservice there. I mean, you're very much, I would say, an investigative journalist from the point of view that you
Freelance, I guess.
yeah, you disseminate a load of information, and you're you've been investigating this for a long time. I think. I don't know if you have to be an officially recognised member of the press over there. Is that what the situation is? Where you have, like get a special press card to say that you're a member of the press
I
or
guess. I don't know.
the media? I mean, I don't know quite how they would differentiate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking that maybe if you went to the court and you said you're a member of the press, maybe you'd get a free cup of coffee or a sandwich or something. I don't.
Yeah.
But, not that it's going to help you much on next Tuesday. Obviously, we look forward to seeing what has transpired with Judge Duffin. I mean, to be honest, Milbillie, I got again Duffin and before him Ludwig, saying things like, I would imagine that both sides would want to sort this out, and Netflix, they're a big corporation, they would want to sort it out, and I just don't get that.
I don't know.
I mean, for Netflix, this is beginning to grow and grow into material which would be available for them to use in making a Murderer Series 3.
Yeah.
It's another part to the whole story.
Unfortunately, nothing's happened in this Stephen Avery's case since November 9th.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
hopefully within a couple of
well,
months,
hopefully,
or
but
who knows,
yeah,
it take.
it could be a while, because all the judges have to review it. Although you can't help thinking that a case as big as this one, sure, as complex as this, that they would be, taking an interest in it.
Well, the fact that they sent it back to the circuit court so
Yeah,
they could fix things before they sent it back again.
yeah,
Hopefully, the justice system works.
yep, yep. I mean, I can't help thinking about the fact that you've got American football. We've got for example, the equivalent here is rugby. I like the American system of officiating a game of football
Yeah.
because you've got a lot of officials watching it from different angles, and if there's a decision made that somebody doesn't agree with, you can challenge it and they can review it and all that kind of stuff. Only just in rugby have they started to do that. It used to be the case that in rugby, if a referee made a decision, he could look at a scrum or a line-out and he could award a penalty any way he liked, because there were so many infringements, so many things he could. And you get the impression that
I believe basketball will probably be the first one that started using that.
Yeah. Sure, but I get the sense that when it comes to this idea of fairness, when it comes to sport, America, as you say, basketball, but obviously I watch a lot of American football, leading the way in saying, we want a fair decision, and yet it seems as if the courts can just be like the old-fashioned rugby referee. They could decide on a whim that they're going to come up with this excuse or that reason. Anyway, I'm with you. Hopefully, we won't have to wait too long. Hopefully, we'll get a decision soon, and it'll be an evidentiary hearing based on the bones. I wanted to ask you, of course, about your thoughts on these emails that have surfaced due to a FOIA request. And people have been asking me, where can I see these emails? And as far as I know, they're on TikTok Manitowoc.
Yep.
Yep.
I've seen a few of them. Not all
And I
of
think, I've seen the tweets by TikTok Manitowoc and AC Rookie. I think there's three in particular that are quite interesting. The first one was the fact that Jerome Booting had an Amazon receipt to show that Dave Remiker had bought the book.
Yeah, we sure did.
His book. Yeah. Then there was the small matter of Emily Matasic inviting Wiegert and Fallon to a watch party because she's got plenty of alcohol. But am I right in thinking that a watch party in that sense simply means that they watch it together at the same time, but in various different locations?
I don't know. It could mean that, or maybe they all got together in the same location and watched it.
Right. Well, that's what I was curious about, but it seems to me as if certainly Emily Matasic comes across as being quite an unpleasant journalist. She seems to not be somewhat condescending towards the filmmakers, and also that she's talking about biased.
Well, you know about that interview she gave Steven.
Yeah.
She was not believing anything he had to say.
Which I can at that point, you see, I can accept that as a journalist you're trying to get to the bottom of it. But when it comes to these behind the scenes, if you like, email correspondence with Wiegert and Fallon, that took on a whole different ball game for me, and it tends to substantiate the claim that she's trying to embed herself and ingratiate herself with the prosecution, and is quite happy just to parrot their point of view.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's like Aaron Keller. He was actually on Stephen Avery's side. He pretty much got run out the state.
Yeah. It's but then obviously the one that's of probably, I mean, that's more of a sort of social interaction thing, whereby you get to see somebody in a different light. We get to see Emily Matasic in a completely different light, and this whole story that she wasn't going to give me any answers to any of my questions because it was 15 years ago, and she's done so much since. For her to
But
be getting excited.
all these people try to make the excuse, "Oh, it's been so long." This is probably the biggest case they covered in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
Attorneys, press, you name it, especially in
Yeah,
Wisconsin. I mean, the biggest thing that happened before this was probably Jeffrey Dahmer.
yeah,
And then before that, Ed Gein.
yeah. Probably the most significant, though, from Steve Avery's point of view, Stephen Brendan's point of view, would be this email, where first of all I really didn't like Tom Fallon talking about the fact that Kathleen Zellner is beginning to
Piss him off.
piss him off. I mean, look, it just seems bizarre. They're just lawyers doing their job. Her job is to try and make sure that the right person is behind bars for causing Teresa Holbrook to disappear on the 31st of October.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't care much for his, the term, as you say, pissing him off. But then the fact that he then, it's not like 40 minutes later, an email to Garn to say, we need to get this 8mm tape working.
I don't see how they don't get a tape to work. You put it in the tape player and you press play.
And if you've got this tape and you need it to work, then you just take it to an audio technician, and just as the guy in your studio would do, even if it was a matter of having to remove the tape completely and to re-engineer it into a new cassette.
I've had time where my cassette tapes, when we used to have cassette tapes before CDs and before this MP3 stuff, I'd put tape in the tape player, and then all of a sudden the tape player started eating the tape. I have to pull it out, take the whole tape thing apart, reroute the spools with a pencil, put it back together.
Absolutely.
There's times where I've taken it out and put it in a different cassette tape.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways around things. Their excuses are.
But it puts into perspective the fact that whilst
obviously they didn't turn everything over to the defense.
Yes, and then the prosecution are trying to claim in their court pleadings, to Sukovich that if this is just a fishing expedition by Kathleen Zellner, assuming that there must be more tape when there isn't, and yet all along they know that there's all this tape that's there. Where just struck me as being. I mean, that's that. I think that's quite serious. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
I don't know. Nothing they did make sense. Well, it makes sense that they're trying to hide the truth, but like they give the bones back to the family, and then they mistakenly don't give Zellner all of the case report that has that portion that they gave the bones back.
Yep.
And then we got the voicemail dial.
Yeah, and it starts to be a case of when do all these little mishaps when do they become so obvious, because there's a pattern to all of this that they're just trying to obfuscate the truth, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, I think certainly I'll try by various means to get to see this appearance by it's going to be the lawyers that are going to represent at this mediation meeting. So
As
we
far as
might
I,
not.
as
We
far
might
as I
not.
know, they
Yeah,
should all be there.
yeah. We might not get to see Laura and Moira and Andy Corbin, and I mean also Michael Griesbach wasn't at the last meeting, was he?
No, it wasn't. But all
Which
the
was
other lore was there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, okay, okay. As I say, we'll try and get. I'll try and get somehow to watch that because that's going to be particularly interesting. Um, there was something else I was going to. Oh yes, yes. Nearly slipped my mind. You saw Ken Kratz
I sure did.
in Milwaukee.
Sure was.
Yeah. And
I
did
saw.
you not? And did you not want to get out the car and say, "Hi, Ken. I'm
Oh,
I'm 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 a big fan of Ryan Foley."
well, I pulled up and I was didn't even get to turn my car off, and I just looked up.
Yeah,
I was like, "No way, is that?" And then I took 3 pictures, and I was like, "No, I got to record this." And I just started recording, and then you see him walk towards the back of the vehicle, and he looks right at me.
yeah,
I was like, "Oh hell no!" So then I got out the car and just stood there looking at him while he
yeah.
continued to put the pump back, and yeah, it was him.
I mean,
And the fact that video has 1 dislike, I bet you it was Charles Darwin.
yeah. It's funny. I keep getting a one dislike on my stuff, and it's classic. There was one other thing I was going to ask you before you go. I don't know if you've managed to see anything of this case here in Scotland.
The Luke Mitchell.
Yeah,
I followed a little bit of it.
yeah. Any thoughts on what the hell's happening there?
It just shows that it doesn't just happen here in America. It happens everywhere.
That's the thing that worries me is the fact that um, sitting in our little island here in the on the Atlantic Ocean in the middle of between the Atlantic and the North Sea, we're looking at America, and unfortunately, some of the stuff that goes down over there does end up seeping through here. I think particularly the naming of Luke and the photographing of him and the hounding of him by the
Well,
journalists.
thankfully, we're able to FOIA for things here in America
Yes,
because everywhere else is locked down. Like I've been
yes,
trying to research my family history because my father was originally
yeah,
born in Germany,
right.
and I can't find anything out there until 100 years after the day it happened.
Wow,
They won't release any of the documents, so I got to wait till 2049 before I got to find anything. All I know is my dad got on a boat when he was 2. He got on
wow,
the boat. He got on the boat with one last name and got off the boat with another.
yeah, wow,
I found out after my father died that he was adopted by what I thought was his father, which he thought was his father. Apparently, his father died in the war, along with my grandmother's brothers. All 3 of her brothers died in the war. They lost everything.
yeah,
They picked up and moved to America in 1950.
right. I mean, the thing is, that doesn't surprise me at all. Going round Wisconsin, there is so much European influence, isn't there? Whether it be German, Belgium,
Well, the
Eastern
majority of
European.
the cities here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, Milbillie, I'm not going to keep you any longer.
I mean,
And
we have a city here called New Berlin.
yes, yes, yeah, and a town called Luxembourg, and is there also one called Belgium?
Yep.
Yep.
There's all over kinds.
Well, New Denmark. Is there not somewhere called New Denmark?
There's Denmark.
Denmark, yeah, 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 yeah. Um, I think really that I've covered everything I wanted to sort of just quickly catch up with you on.
What do we think about that email about them going over what KZ's? claiming.
No, I think I saw that. Yeah, just quickly paraphrase, can you? What was the context of
Well,
that one?
basically, after she submitted her brief
Hmm.
and she made her video of leaving the Avery property and going to Cuss Road, they
Yeah,
wanted to do the same route. But there's some things in there that he mentions that weren't in that video.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I did see something about that, and I also saw something about. I think it was Colburn saying about the fact that the defence claimed that the rifle was taken out by law enforcement, shot into the garage floor, and then placed back over the bed. And he's saying, and that's all in the trial documents. Well, it ain't
Uh,
there. It ain't there. So,
no.
so where's Andy Coleman got that from?
That's just like
Unless it really
Colbert
happened.
mentioning that Stephen Avery made some statements en route, and he, like he said, he didn't watch Netflix, but he claims that they should have used that in trial, and if they didn't, he don't know why. Because I guess Stephen made the statement that it took you times to find the key.
Oh, that baloney.
Yeah,
Oh, for goodness sake. I mean, do you know what? One of the interesting things about that is that there is definitely some sort of political infighting within Manitowoc Sheriff's Department, because you've got in 2006 you've got Herman and, of surprise surprise, Andy Colburn thinking they can both go for sheriff.
yeah. Andrew
You know,
Colburn was running up against Rob Herman.
and you can understand Rob Herman saying, "Well, I'm the deputy sheriff. Therefore, now that Kevin Peterson is resigning, or
Well,
retiring, I
you
can take."
think about it, either one, they're going to keep the same people in power.
Yeah, but what I took from that was, what on earth made a lieutenant who's okay? He's head of a shift. He's a shift commander. What makes him suddenly think he can become the sheriff of the whole department, unless Jim Lenker said, in order to thank you for your efforts in this, Avery investigation, planting evidence, finding evidence, I'm going to back you to be the new sheriff.
Yep.
That's what I took it as, because, and the reason I say that is because one of the things that Herman said to me, without any questioning from me whatsoever, he just came straight out and said, "There's me and Andy Colburn get on really fine. There's no hard feelings."
Yep.
And I said,
Well,
"Well,
but,
I was saying that there was." So
well, it's like that first email he was sending. He was talking on the behalf of him and James Link,
yeah,
and then when he goes forward his lawsuit, doesn't James Link must he's smart. He stayed away because in trial they proved that he lied.
yeah, yeah,
They even pointed that out to the jury, and the jury ignored it.
yeah.
It was in
That
Dean Strang's closing argument.
yeah. I've just remembered that the one other thing that we did see was this sort of agreement, if you like, between Colburn and Kratz, that if Colburn was going to take part in this project, that they were going to, he was agreeable to certain, a video of all that kind of stuff, everything that would be involved with somebody being, part of a documentary. And the speculation was that the project was this one that Sean Reck was involved with, or is
Mm-hmm.
involved with, and even Sean Reck said, "No, it's nothing to do with me. I didn't do any kind of agreement with Kratz or Colburn or anything like that."
Yeah.
So clearly, as soon as Making a Murderer came out, Kratz was hoping to do some sort of counter documentary, but obviously that's never caught on at all, has it? I've never seen one. I'm wondering if that's why he started doing those strange videos, like the one where if you turn the brightness full up, at the black when the screen goes black, you can actually see pictures of Anthony Porter, can't you?
My question is, who did he commission to make those for him? He didn't do that himself. He may have surprised some of the footage. The most damning one is where he's got Steven talking to Jerry Bruning, and they're supposed to be private room.
Well, I got in touch with the people that made the film, and the guy said to me, "Who's Ken Kratz?" I don't know who Ken Kratz is.
Well, I'm sure. Well, you just said you should have mentioned Charles Darwin.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it was a case of it was do it under somebody else's name.
Yeah.
Or hold on a sec. No, I tell a lie. It was the person that did the music that I got in touch with, because the person that did the music is credited at the end of them. So I got in touch with them and said, I really like your music, but there's some interesting things about this video that I'd like to discuss. Anyway. Listen, I'm going to say cheerio. It's been great for a chat, and hopefully we'll be able to liaise. Well, as I say, if you're available on Saturday, love to see you with Pete and Jerome and I, and have your beer ready.
I don't drink, but I've been pondering having a weekly live, and most likely going to do it. First one will probably be tomorrow.
Excellent. Good.
It's already posted. It airs tomorrow at 7:30 my time. We're going over Brendan Dassey's November 6th interview.
Excellent. I'm 7:30 your time. That's like my 1:30 in the morning. So I'll probably be watching that the next day.
Probably.
Yeah. I'm not like you. I mean, if I'm gigging, which I haven't done for a year now, then I've seen me getting back at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and
well, it's just hard to schedule everything because we got Jeff. He's an hour ahead of me, and then I got people in Australia. They're 13 hours ahead of us.
Yes.
So trying to schedule it so that everybody can be together at the same time is kind of hard.
It's not fun, is it? I suppose that's what I'm saying. I appreciate the fact that you've been so flexible. Sometimes on a Monday morning, when it's been like 11 o'clock for me, and it's been like 5 o'clock in the morning for you, and you've still come on and joined us. So thanks very much for that, pal, and much appreciated. But yeah, if I'll send you the link for Saturday.
There's been a few times I've come on here with no sleep at all. So
yeah, not that we would know.
Yeah, well, that last time after I got done sitting in my studio, I was dead tired, and I was no help. You asked me questions I couldn't even think.
Yeah, I think yes, absolutely right, T1. He does not sleep. The guy does not sleep.
Yeah. Time flies when you start researching into things. Before I know it, it's been 4 or 5 hours ago and past.
Well, that was one of the quotes from Kathleen Zellner, wasn't it? That she was once asked that question. When do you sleep? And her reply was, "Sleep
is overrated.
Overrated.
I sleep when I'm dead."
Yeah. Anyway, cheers, mate. I'll catch you soon, and thanks everybody for joining in, and we'll catch you again soon. Okay. Well, hopefully by Saturday or before, if possible. But anyway, certainly by Saturday. Okay.
Most likely I'll be there.
And well, obviously I'll check out your live tomorrow. Oh, sorry. Who have you got scheduled for? Are you able to tell us who you've got scheduled for your live tomorrow?
Same people who were there last time. Big Jeff, Silkman, Calf, Kelly. Maybe Excellent. 2 other people. I mean, I got rooms for plenty.
You have.
Yep.
You've got a nice big studio there.
Well, the way I have it set up, I can have 50 people in a room if I wanted.
Yeah. Excellent. Okie dokie. Catch you later.
Later.
Cheers. Bye for now. Bye-bye.